Saad Juman. Currently, I'm the co-chair of the HDSB PIC committee, and my other co-chair, Sherry, you want to go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi there, I'm Sherry White, and I am currently the other co-chair for PIC.
Great. Welcome to November 2nd, our first live stream of the school year. So first up, we always start off with honoring the land and the territories, and I have the honor of doing that tonight. Halton, as we know it today, is rich in history and modern traditions of many First Nations and the Métis. From the Anishinaabe to the Attawandaron to the Haudenosaunee and the Métis, these lands surrounding the Great Lakes are steeped in Indigenous history. As we gather today on these treaty lands, we have the responsibility to honor and respect the four directions: land, waters, plants, animals, ancestors that walk before us, and all the wonderful elements of creation that exist. We would like to acknowledge and thank the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation for sharing their territory with us. The next order of business is passing of the minutes from our last meeting, which was some time ago towards the ending of the last school year, May 2023. So those, I believe, were circulated. If I can get, I'll have to switch screens here to see, but if I can get a motion to pass those minutes. Okay, Jennifer has raised her hand, and if I can get somebody to second it. Zena looks like she's seconding it. Okay, perfect. There may have been others, but this is just the 9 tiles that I can see on my screen. Okay, next we are going to have, I'll give it over to my co-chair, Sherry, who's going to give us PIC 101, as this is the first meeting of this year. And this is essentially an overview of the PIC committee and the PIC role. Sherry, over to you.
Thank you. I think we do have a slide for this. Okay, so every school board is asked, the Ontario regulations requires all the school boards to establish a PIC, which a parent involvement committee. And it basically is, as it says here, an important advisory body to the school boards and is a formal structure and key vehicle at the board level that enhances parent involvement and supports students' achievement and well-being. So basically, the PIC is that sort of link between the parents that are involved with the schools at the parent council level and with what happens at the board level. So we're sort of that bridge in between. We bring communication from the board back to the schools through the parent councils, and of course take any concerns or information from the parents at parent councils that need to go back to the board, and also giving that key support for students and the parents as well with our board's strategic plan. And as much as we call it the I always smile when I see this slide here that says engagement versus involvement, because Rob Ita, always used to say that it should have been called PEC, and it should be parent engagement instead of just involvement, because engagement is sort of that two-way communication. But we encourage, and the role of the PIC rep is that we expect that all of the PIC reps are voting members on their parent councils, and we would want them to know pardon me, sorry, the role really for the PIC reps at the school level is to take communication back, be up to date with anything coming from our inner committee. We do have subcommittees set up, like for doing the conference And I'm just looking, sorry if I missed any of my points, that we would have, communications set up again regarding, board and ministry initiatives like the Pro Grant conference, getting speakers in at the school, that there would be, updates or information that you'd be able to take back to school councils to put in the minutes, with newsletters and that sort of thing. And of course, we have access to the PIC website and the message boards for any pertinent information. And we do have two orientation, one orientation, 2 meetings for the PIC reps. I know we're going to be discussing the dates for those. And as well, if anybody is going to volunteer to be on the planning committee for our conference, which we're looking forward to as well. So was there another slide? I think.
No, that's it. Any other points in your end, Sherry?
No, I think that pretty much covers the role of the PIC reps.
Okay, great. Next, I'm going to hand it over to Superintendent Connor, who is going to, sorry, there were a couple of things here, who's going to discuss the 2023-24 PIC committee and some items of business we have to take care of.
Great, thanks so much. So I'll speak about a couple of things. First of all, welcome to everyone. I know we have a few new folks that are joining us this evening. So just for a moment to speak to the composite of the PIC committee. It's a wonderful committee and we appreciate everybody's interest in being involved, and we know the wonderful work that will unfold certainly in the months ahead. Just as a frame of reference, we have 12 parent community members. So we have 3 representatives within each of the communities of Oakville, Burlington, and Milton, and Halton Hills. We also have a community member, Dana Bello from the Halton Multicultural Council. Our elementary principal, Charlene Winiski, is here. Secondary vice principal, Louisa Botello, and trustee Zhang, I know, has joined us as well this evening, which is wonderful. And I am the superintendent responsible for both school councils as well as the PIC committee. Our 12 parent representatives, as well as our community members, are all voting members of the committee. So that's 13 in total. And then the rest of us are here for support and to help certainly with the work that unfolds. But that's what the composite of the committee looks like. We wanted to just wish you a very warm welcome to our 4 new members. So there's Laura Tripp, who has joined us, representing Burlington Elementary. Amber Rutherford Kakishiwai from Burlington also Elementary School, Angela Cole from Halton Hills Elementary, and Tanzine Amir from representing Oakville Secondary. Really wonderful welcome to the 4 new members that are joining us. Just to share and highlight for a moment, we had 4 vacancies for the current year, obviously. And so I just wanted to share and highlight that we did have a very robust process that is captured through the PIC bylaws that articulate a selection team that's responsible for navigating, filling any vacancies for the year. In a wonderful way, it was many hours of a meeting because we had almost 150 individuals across the region that were keen to be involved in this committee. And so just a tremendous testament, I think, to so many families very keen to be involved and connect to the work of the board and the work of schools and to support the work of this committee. We base the selection as we're articulating, again, as articulated in our bylaws, based on parents and guardians and staff really having individuals having a very strong interest in working with parents, guardians, and staff to support school councils, as well as prior volunteer experience and also geographical need as well. So again, wonderful welcome to the 4 individuals that are joining us and the breadth of experience that comes from many of you around this table as well. The other piece that we need to attend to today that I said I'd be helpful to provide some support around is the selection of our co-chairs for the 2023-2024 school year. The current wonderful chairs that we've had, I've had a great chance to get to know both Sherry and Saud over these last couple of weeks. have currently completed their first 2-year term. And as I shared with all members, both Shari and Saad are welcome and invited to also step forward for an additional 2 years in the position. So that again is also articulated in our bylaws. But we did also reach out to see if there was anybody else within the group that might have an interest in putting their name forward for the position of co-chair. We had 2 additional individuals that indicated that they had an interest. So that's both Zina as well as Tazeen. And so what we thought we would do at this point in time is we would move forward. And I reached out to each of the candidates a few days ago to see if each of them would mind speaking for perhaps 2 or 3 minutes or so, just to share a little bit about themselves and their commitment and also fit for the position. And then what we would do is we would conduct an anonymous online voting tool that each of you would be able to submit and indicate who your 2 selected co-chairs would be, so that we would be well positioned to start to begin our plans for the 2023-2024 year. I will highlight very quickly, just to have this in your frame of reference, it's a big role, and I know both Saad and Shari have worked very hard these last few years on behalf of families and behalf of this committee to be able to move forward the work of PIC. And so I'll just again speak to some of the breadth of what's required in the role. One is acting as spokesperson for the committee in communication with the Director of Education and the board. Developing the meeting agenda along with the superintendent and trustee members to reflect the input of PIC members, chairing our PIC meetings, of course, and PIC information nights, participating in the member appointment process, working with HDSB staff to facilitate communication with school PIC representatives, and providing an annual written summary of PIC activities to the board chair and director of education by the end of the year to include a report of how funding, if any, provided under the Education Act was spent. So that's the, again, the very robust range of responsibilities. And so I just wanted to confirm that that's kind of what our plan and process would be this evening, just to be able to move forward our elections. Is there any questions that anybody has in regards to that plan? And if not, I'll just pause for a second just to make sure that that makes sense to everyone. I'm switching my view so I can see more tiles. Oh, okay, there we go. No questions. Okay, perfect. So if it's okay, perhaps just thinking kind of in coordinating things a little bit, perhaps Shari or Saad, you might step forward first, and perhaps Saad, are you okay jumping in first to talk a little bit about yourself? Thank you. And then we'll have Shari, then Zina, and then Tadzeen.
Okay, great. Thank you, Superintendent Connor. So a little bit about myself. I had the pleasure of serving a 2-year term with Shari. It was a bit of a ride because we had a bit of pandemic. Then we had our first back to in-person conference and things like that. And I feel like the first 2 years we were getting our feet wet, learning the role, thrown into the fire of sort of an uncommon circumstance. And I would be, if the committee would have it, I would be very excited to finish my last 2-year term that I would be eligible for, now that I have a better understanding of what is required and also the planning that probably needs to be in place that maybe we didn't get to in the actual previous year. As it relates to myself and why I would want to serve in this role again, I have 4 children, grades 2 to grade 9. They're all in the HDSB system. So I'm heavily invested for the next decade plus in this system with all 4 of them. And in general, I do a lot of community work. I'm a board member for the Canadian Caribbean Association of Halton. And one of the things that I'm very proud of last year, along with our wonderful committee here and the CCAH, we were able to build a bridge between the 2 organizations to offer what was arguably one of the best run tutoring programs that tutored well over 150 children a week to help catch them up with sort of falling behind in some pockets with their academics during the actual pandemic. Lastly, I've been the school chair up until this year. I stepped down and just became a voting member at E.J. James Public School in Southeast Oakville. And professionally, I'm a tech angel investor and a philanthropist. And I'm at a place in my career where I can devote the time needed now to focus on community work and volunteer work that is of interest to me. So thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Saad. Very much appreciated. And we'll hand things over to Shari.
Hi there. Yeah, I think what some of the points that Saad made were very important, especially, you know, knowing that, yes, we sort of we're new to these rules as the rules were new to us. Because I will say this is actually sort of my 13th year being involved with parent councils and PIC, as I was voted as chair of parent council when my son was in junior kindergarten, and he started grade 11 this year. So I have always been involved, and I've seen a lot of changes. I think getting through obviously the whole you know, pandemic years was a challenge, especially for parent involvement. And of course, you know, we've had some restructuring with the constitution that was brought in. So knowing that, you know, all of the new things that we were doing, and of course, trying to do things online, offline, back to in person, it really has been a great experience, but it has been a learning experience. And as Saad had said, I think now that we sort of know more of what's expected and what to do, we're in a better position if we were to repeat another term. That would be great. I know this would be, well, I'm going to speak a little bit for Zena too, but you know, I think having seen the level of involvement that she has given as well over the years has been really great. And you know, the fact that she helped chair, or she did chair the conference committee last year, having had that experience. So I think really, even though the role of, you know, co-chair sounded a little daunting about, you know, making agendas and things, I really think though that this committee does work as a solid team, and going forward, you know, whoever is in the co-chair position would have that support of the rest of the people, and of course, you know, giving the support to the co-chairs as needed, because that's really what this committee is about. And yeah, it would be great to do it again. And thank you. And I guess I'll pass it to Zena.
Thank you, Sherry. Thanks a lot. Okay, so thank you for all this wording. And yes, I really appreciate what Saad, Sherry, and whoever was previously as a co-chair. The role is very important, but in the same time, just remember this committee is like a family. You cannot get rid of any one member because it is more important than the others. All of the member of the family is important in some way. So this is how we are. And to be honest, I was just thinking if Sherry and Saud will be step out, I don't know who will take over. So I said, yes, I can do it in case if they are not there. So as a background for my journey in the PIC committee, I started with my daughter when she was in kindergarten, thinking, okay, you know what? I want to learn the system. I want to know what's going on in my daughter's life, especially the school. So from there, I started with the PIC council, and then like the PIC representative. And then after that, you know, I said, you know what, let me try to be in the PIC committee. I was a co-chair with the Halton District School Board, and then I was a chair, and then Saud and Sherry was take over. But unfortunately, because of the COVID time and with the pandemic, they couldn't do any PIC conference at that time. So yes, so the last year was the first year after the pandemic. So I took the chair for the PIC conference at that time because of my past experience, and they was new at that time. This is their first conference. So That's why I was the chair for the last year, but not because I was the chair for the PIC committee. I appreciate they are doing an amazing job. I was just guiding there, but all the effort was on their shoulder. So this is my story here with the PIC committee and with the Halton District School Board. And I appreciate if I will be there, I will be there. If I am not, I'm still there, a member who support everyone. Okay, thank you.
Thanks so much, Sina. Very appreciated. And then we have Tanzine, who will also share some highlights and interest.
Hello, everyone. Thanks, Sina. That was amazing. And Sherry and Saud. My name is Tazim Amir. I'm pretty much very new in this whole thing. So I am basically a physician by profession, and I've been working in healthcare management for a while now. And I absolutely love what I'm doing. I've had a chance to lead some amazing teams, help improve some patient care, and even dip my toes in telemedicine health. So I've seen this extensive, I'm hearing this extensive experiences that you have, and I applaud all of you for going through. So I have decided to serve on this parent involvement committee through my child's school, because I believe that active parental participation is basically essential for the well-being and success of our students. So I don't have a huge background as Ina does with chairing and co-chairing that thing, but definitely I've joined the committees, and I've been leading or advocating for all my students. My students basically are medical students, and I've been working with adult education also basically most of my life. So dealing with that, I know how many challenges and everything we do face. And these children are going to go into their real life. So getting involved and getting to work on this thing will be a huge thing for me. I take it seriously, and I find that it is also personally rewarding being involved. So I did have a chance to develop leadership and communication skills and all these things. But yes, for me, it's first time being in the Halton District School Board committee.
Great. Thanks so much, Tazine. We appreciate that very much. So what we have are wonderful people that are keen to be involved, and I applaud all of you for stepping forward, and all of you and hearing your stories, how much you continue to do and contribute to both your own child's school and also your interest and for many of you, your ongoing commitment to this committee as well. The plan is then, kind of from a process perspective, is that I'm going to ask right now for Suzanne, who is our administrative assistant that provides support, to put a link in the chat box in just a moment. Riza, I see that you have your hand up. Did you have a quick question?
I do have a question. Are we allowed to ask the 4 candidates any questions before we vote?
So we really didn't talk about that as a process. It's hard to see everybody. Maybe I'll take a kind of a lead from Saud and Shari. We're good with that. So if that sounds okay, Riza, why don't you go ahead and ask some questions if you like.
Sure. I just have one question. And first of all, I want to say thank you to the 4 candidates for stepping up. It's a big role, and I appreciate you for doing that. What is the one challenge you think the PIC committee faces or has faced? And a subsequent question is, what would you do with that challenge? How would you manage it? Thank you.
And Saud, did you want to jump in first?
Sure. The first thing that comes to mind is, and I'm basing this on our last year, which you were on, we're all together in that last year, the non-pandemic-ish kind of year. I think planning and focus. I feel like in the background, we had a lot of things going on. And then even our great conference in the end, perhaps we could plan it a little bit earlier, right? So a little bit more planning. by focus, I mean maybe saying no to a few initiatives. I remember last year, I don't know how many people know, but we had a attempted TV show that I was part of, right? But I mean, even those things, I would kind of like gut check those and be like, what is essential? What should we go deep on? The conference is one thing, and maybe there are others, and what should we say no to? And really plan ahead as much as we can.
Great, thank you. And any of the other 4 candidates, would you like to provide a response?
I will. I will definitely say probably the biggest challenge that I've noticed that has come up is obviously the technology piece. It has been both a blessing, I think, and a curse. A blessing in the sense that when it comes to trying to bring everybody together from, all 4 corners of Halton, it has been a great thing because it does allow, me in Acton to still be, in a meeting in a timely fashion with somebody in Burlington and not have to worry about the whole, who's driving to which meeting site. But at the same time, I think that we tend to lose a lot in not having face-to-face communication, and especially when trying to, plan things or even have, with our pick rep meetings, not being able to sort of, have small groups and have, close discussions together. So sometimes it's very hard to feel connected and to the group when you're doing things constantly, online and, trying to coordinate even, the conference planning and things like that when it's always, sort of, through Zoom meetings and chats. And of course that was new for everybody, because we were trying to help our kids online and do things. And at the same time, during these last couple of years, we did see a lot of changes at the board level as well, with having, Director Ennis, being new to the role in Halton, and a lot of, the superintendents that sort of came and went around the same time. We did have a lot retire, at the same time. So there was a lot of change happening. There was a lot of, trying to look at how things were going to look, going forward. So these last couple of years, I think, has been a transition for a lot of things all across the board. And I think in terms of, parent involvement and engagement, it really means, looking at how we can do that and bring things back, to the parents. Like I said, this technology is great. It's great having these meetings, but I think, being able to be back in the schools for, in-person events, and having, those, in-person, discussions are very important. And I think that that's something that, not just for the conference, but just even, we used to have small groups or pardon me, even when PIC members would go to, school councils, if presentations needed to be done at a parent council meeting, we'd be able to bring that information in person. And I know a lot of parent councils have decided to do things virtually as well, because it's a lot easier for parents in the evening to meet online, because they can do it, in transit or things like that. But I think that challenge will still be, having that in-person touch. And I think that that's important and something we should strive for. So hopefully we'll be able to incorporate that again and make it a good balance between, the technology and being able to actually say hi and I can see you, in person. But yeah. And I think really, so that's probably the biggest challenge that I saw. And of course, like I said, going back to doing things in person and with a lot of new people and knowing, how to run a conference, which, like I said, I was so thankful that Zena had that, experience, especially when we were dealing with, new things. So
thanks, Sherry.
that answers that.
That's great. And we're going to be talking about meetings very shortly, I think. So that's a good segue into the format and what that would be, what we'd most like to see in terms of how those are managed this year. Zina, would you like to jump in?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, so maybe I will just go back to the answer to Raza. So Ali, we can tell that there is, if you come to the challenges in the PIC committee exactly, so you can tell that there is two ways, the PIC committee itself and the conference, and the PIC committee as a committee itself with the parents. So as a conference, I think the most challenge that we face, all of us, and including you, is the last minute change and the last minute no show for the presenter. And that was just, thinking how you can deal with that. But thank God all of us was there, and you and Reem was very helpful. And we just guide the people to the other room to show, to just let them know that this presentation is not happening, and then they can choose any other presentation that's available on the same time slot. So regarding the big committee itself, so this is something that I faced personally. They think that we are part of the board and we have the hand to make a decision. We are not a decision-making people. We can just reach the voice. So many families, they reach me personally to solve their problem inside the school, which is not my position at all. So the only thing that we have to educate them how is the system is working and how they can accelerate their problem from the teacher to the principal, then to the superintendent, and so on. We are the last resource just to reach the voice. We are not there to solve a problem. Some people, they was just saying, we pay from our tax to you. They thought that we take salary for this position. No one knows that we all here as volunteer. So the only thing that you can do, take it in the smile, nicely way. We are here all volunteer. We are here just to do activities and reach your voice, but we are not here. We cannot solve your problem. We are not in a position to make any rules, to make any suggestion, or even to resolve your problem, because we don't have that authority. The only thing that we can do, we reach the voice of the parents to the board through the person who are responsible about the PIC. At that time, it was Ayman. Other than that, I think we just need to educate them that we cannot do more. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Sina, for that. And Tazeen, would you, I know it's a harder question, I'm sure, coming in new to the group, but I didn't know if you had any reflections or anything else that you'd like to share.
The only thing that I've seen, and through committees that I've seen and worked through these things, the most challenging thing that we've seen across, as Sherry also mentioned, but I feel communication, effective communication between the committee members, the parents, the teachers, the school administrators, that can sometimes be really difficult to establish and definitely to maintain. So last minute cancellations, sometimes language barriers, sometimes with diverse populations that we're going through with all these people. I find communication is the key, and it's not only challenging, but sometimes it's difficult to maintain. And with these things, with the technology, sometimes we lose that thing. Sometimes it's we cannot get across, we cannot know the other person's perspective. So it is a bit difficult, and ensuring that everybody is well informed and engaged can be a continual challenge for that. But yes, working through these things, they have their challenges, but I think so all of us have gone through these things, last minute cancellations, conferences, holding all these things, and we learn with everything that goes through us. We learn how to do it next time, and we learn how to do it better. So it's an ongoing process, I think, and everybody, they group, all these volunteers that we are coming through, they try to make it as best as we can.
Thanks so much, Tazeen. Are we okay to move forward with the vote in terms of where everybody's at right now? So just to explain the process for a moment, in a moment, Suzanne's going to put out just a sheet or a survey that each of you will be able to access. So just a reminder, we have 12 parent representatives, as well as Diana, who is our community representative from the Halton Multicultural Council. So 13 voting members on council. So those would be the 13 individuals that would be able to cast a vote today. It looks like to me, as I've gone through the list, that Lori-Ann Smith is not present. I'm just making sure that she's not. So what that would mean is that we have 12 voting members right now. And I did talk to Sherry and Saud about that a little bit. If we are, normally when we do a vote, you do a vote with the voting members that are present. If we end up in a tie situation, then what we would do, I would, after the meeting, then seek out to have our additional member cast their vote so that we would be able to have a definitive election in which we have 2 of the 4 candidates that are selected. But if we don't have a tie based on the individuals that are here, we're going to move forward with the vote. And then hopefully by the end of this evening, we'll be able to conclude in terms of who the co-chairs will be for the upcoming or for the current, I guess, school year. Is there any questions or any concerns about that? I think we're okay. Okay, so Suzanne, if you don't mind, what I'll ask you to do now is just to pop into the chat box the link so that folks can do the survey. I will ask, once you've completed the survey, submit it, obviously, and then if you can just put your hand up, and all that will allow me to do is just confirm, not necessarily, I won't tie kind of the surveys that come in, but I'll at least make sure and I'm aware that everybody has cast a vote. So that will just let us know when we can conclude the election process. Laura, did you have a question?
No, I'm just done. You're on mute, I think.
Oh, sorry, Laura. Thank you so much. That's great. I'll just keep an eye on things. Keep your hand up until we're concluded the election.
I apologize, but I'm getting an error it keeps asking me to log in, but it won't let me go. So hopefully there's enough votes, but I'm having computer problems. You're muted again, sorry.
Sorry, I'm going to talk to myself tonight. Sorry, my apologies, Jennifer.
That's okay.
What I'm going to do is ask, I think it's important everybody here does vote, and a vote may make a difference. And we have wonderful candidates, to be fair. So I'm wondering, Suzanne, if you're not able to access it, and I think you're the only one that likely is at this point as I'm looking at the hands, maybe I'll ask Suzanne to send it to you via your email. And
okay.
that might work. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll send that right now, Jennifer.
Thank you.
Okay, so I can't see all hands, and it's just because we have a slideshow going on as well. So I'm just going to ask Laura, Laura Springer, have you cast your vote?
I have.
Okay, and then Riza, Riza, have you had a chance to cast your vote?
I have, thank you.
Thank you. And Jennifer, I think you're still working on it at this point. So, okay, how about everybody kind of put their hands down? Jennifer, did you have any more luck with the with the accessing the link via your email? No luck there, Jen.
Sorry, I've got a lot of screens open and I'm trying to get to the right spot because I tried to open it in another spot and I can't.
Okay.
I can send Suzanne a private message and let her
Yeah.
know who I voted for. That might be easier.
That would
Unless
be
someone
fine.
wants to entertain us with a song or something. I'll try and figure it out. But
Okay, why don't between the two of you do that, and then Suzanne, you can follow up with me perhaps via text. I have my phone beside me. I'll do the background work. I'll try to do a little bit of multitasking to see if I can dig into things a little bit on my end, as will Suzanne. And then I guess we'll hand things back. Is that okay, Shari and Saad, if you want to step forward and move into the next part of the agenda?
Yep, that works. That works with us. Okay, next part of the agenda, Shari, it's over to you to talk about the various subcommittees that we're going to have this year. We're not addressing it in this meeting in terms of selecting the subcommittees, but just an overview of what those subcommittees are.
There's a slide for that, I think, that was on the.
Hang on, I'm just trying to. Here we go.
Yeah. So as PIC members of this committee, there are some subcommittees. Some that you'll notice are from our board directly. And then there's the Ontario PIC Connection, which is the PIC chairs, co-chairs, or PIC representatives from the various school boards that have run through the province. So obviously, as you see first on the list on the slide, there is the PIC Conference Committee. So these can be PIC rep members, but it can be really any parent from any school in Halton that would like to help us put together the conference. And we had a great group of parents that joined us last year to go back and putting that in conference. The Inclusive Education Priorities and Engagement Branch Committee, that I think that was that's a ministry one, is it not, that one? Tara, do you have insight on that one? You're muted.
Sorry, I'm not good at multitasking. I'm counting a million things right now. So
sorry.
That's okay. Was it the, yes, when we had talked, there was a ministry one for sure. And I think we've already had some preliminary contact around that.
Yeah, because there's the Ontario PIC Connection, there's the IB. Also for the HDSB Calendar Committee, that group does meet twice, usually during the school year, to set the dates for the upcoming school year in terms of when professional development days are going to be put in. If there's, days of significance and holidays that need to be accommodated and adjusted for. And of course, having that input from the parents is very important as well. And the environmental management team. And if anyone has questions, I know, Zena, that was something that you sat on this past year. But these are the committees that do ask for a parent rep from the PIC committee. Can you, Zena, do you mind giving a little bit of what the environmental management team does?
Yes, Sherry. So the environmental management team, it's also like a committee, which is including the parent representative and also from the board representative and from the Halton region. They are doing, sorry, they are doing multiple activities throughout the school year, including some of the student and the planting and also in some of the, eco-friendly programs. From primary school and secondary school, including student plus some of the Halton region activities that include schools and some of the project in the ecosystem schools. So this is just in general, and there will be like a meeting every month or every alternative month, depend on the availability. And the PIC committee representative will be there so that can give all the information or all the update from the PIC and also bring some information to the PIC.
Thank you.
Next slide is yours as well, Sherry. It's future meeting dates.
That I think we're going to be discussing once we know
Okay,
more.
so these are TBD.
Sorry?
They're to be determined still.
Yeah, there's the two pick rep meetings are to be determined, but our future meeting dates for this committee, as you can see, February the 8th, April 18th, and May the 23rd. And of course, there may be some subcommittee meetings in there around, the conference planning and things like that. What is set up, though, is the financial training, and that a lot of parents do know about because it has been sent to school councils for the school council chairs, their co-chairs, and treasurers. So that's also a virtual meeting on November the 28th. But yes, as a committee of a whole, we will discuss about the two school-based pick rep meetings that are to be announced, and if they're going to be live and in person or online.
Got it. Okay, we have Superintendent Connor has raised her hand. You can go ahead.
Thank you. I just wanted to, so the school-based pick representative sessions, the dates that we had are dates that we used last year, so November and January. And I know that there's also been discussion about the potential in-person or not. I'm wondering with the timeliness, is there an interest to see if we can secure a date and time in November? And I'm just mindful if it is live streamed or if it is, actually wouldn't be live streamed, but if it is virtual or if it's at a particular site, we might need to do some of that booking and planning with a fair amount of expediency.
Okay. Did you want to talk to the committee about setting those dates now, or?
I think, yeah, and it's really at the discretion of the committee when you'd like, really, I think, so I'll say two, I guess. One, the future meeting dates have been determined. So those we had to publicly announce. So that was decided a few weeks ago. The financial training is dependent on the availability of Pam Cottenham and how she could navigate that. This is, again, a very similar time frame to last year. So I would say that probably, if everybody seems to think that's reasonable, is the place that it should likely land. The PIC representative meetings, however, there is discretion how the team would like to do it. So I do think it's worthwhile, particularly for the November one. November 17th rather, is really 2 weeks away. I think there needs to be a decision at this meeting, or if there's a plan to do it shortly thereafter, if it's virtual, what the team would like, and also if the date looks okay. So it would be useful, I think, from this meeting to have a defined date for that time.
Okay, great. I understand. Okay, so it's really setting a time, a date, actually, and whether it's going to be virtual or in person for the next school-based PIC representative session. Zena has raised her hand.
Yeah, I was just curious about the November 17th for the first meeting for the PIC rep from all the school around. I know the last year was 17 because it was Thursday, but I'm just thinking if you want to take it in person and at night, maybe we can think about the November 23rd because the next day will be PA day, so it will be much easier for the parents if they want to attend physically, if not remotely.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Laura Tripp, you can go ahead. You've raised your hand.
Thanks. I would just say that I don't know about every school, but at our school, we do interviews the night before the PD day. So a lot of parents might be booked up. I don't know if that's common across all schools, but that's been our experience.
Yes, that is happening at a lot of schools.
I don't know also as well, just looking at the calendar, whether it's in person or virtual. I know that it's coming up, but first and third, and I know Trustee Zhang can confirm this, whether it's still the first and third Wednesdays of the month that are the trustee meetings. And I know there's something on one of the set Thursdays of the month for other things. So I don't know, what the board's calendar looks like in terms of which day of the week we need to
Is it Thursday?
we either need to look at or stay away from. Because yes, last year, November 17th was a Thursday. So if we were looking at a Thursday, it would be the 16th. Because yes, as Laura did mention, the 23rd evening, the night before the PD day, is usually parent-teacher interview nights. I know a lot of the schools, actually, I just heard my daughter and husband come in because my daughter is in grade 8. So tonight was one of the information nights about grade 9 in high school. But I know within the next couple of weeks too, though, a lot of the grade 8 information nights are coming up at the schools across.
So Sherry, maybe what we can do is just put it out to the committee to find out the day of the week. I mean, it's going to be hard to get a perfect date.
Oh no, absolutely. I just don't
Thursday?
know. Like I said, are the Wednesdays in or out? Like, can anybody confirm or are we still like having to?
Yeah, she mean for trustee meeting,
Yeah.
which Wednesdays, the 1st and the 3rd, or they switch to another day or different days, so that maybe we can select the Wednesday on November 15th. I think this is what she mean, right, Sherry?
Yeah, or if we were looking, if we needed more time, then if we were looking at that week of the 20th, would the 23rd obviously wouldn't work. The 24th is a PD day, so would Wednesday the 22nd
Yeah.
work? Is that?
Yeah, we can go the following week, right? We can do the
The week of the
29th
29th.
or the 30th, November 29th or November 30th, right? It gives us more time to raise the awareness of the meeting, right?
And my preference, honestly, like I said, I'd love for something to be back in person. If we could secure, let's say, the central location, like the Welcome Center site that's
Yes.
in Milton at EC Drury
Yes.
campus. I think that would be great. And if we can bring, everybody together, that gives us a chance to, have different things, small group things going on.
Sorry, we've had Ali raise his hand. You can go ahead.
Thanks, Todd. I just wanted to say I support what you said, that a later meeting, the 29th or the 30th, would be better, not only for you to plan it, but also to give everyone notice that we're having this in location meeting. Thank you.
Yes. Superintendent Connor, you can go ahead.
Yeah, thanks for that. So the only piece I'm thinking about, I'm just wanting to confirm the meeting, the financial training is for our co-chairs and our council chairs and treasurers. So there would be an overlap. The other meeting is for the PIC representatives, right? I'm just mindful that
Yes.
the one session is planned for the 28th, right?
Correct.
And so if you're looking at 29th or 30th, and it looks like there's some real interest to be able to be in person, what I'm happy to do following this meeting is I'll look to see the availability. I think I'm hearing of the Milton Learning Center. If that's a centralized area for, that would be welcome. I think that's what I heard from Shari, because we will need a large space. So what I can look at is available board space and certainly center on that. I can also look at the dates of availability of the 29th and the 30th, if that's helpful, and then do a report back. So there may be limitations that we don't know now, but at least if we have some parameters to work from, I'm happy to dig into that for sure.
Okay, sounds great. Ali, you can go ahead.
Thanks, Todd. Just another suggestion. Can we not just do the meeting all on the 28th, where the co-chairs, the treasurers, the PIC reps, they come to a location, they go into 2 different groups? It might just save you the time and effort logistically and administratively to have us all in one place at one time, at one night. Thanks.
Great suggestion. So Superintendent Connor, I'm just looking at the time here. Maybe as a next step, we'll check with the facilities to see what's available and then circulate potential dates after this.
That would be perfect. Yeah, having this direction is great. Having a bit of a timeline and then a framework for how you'd like the meeting to take place. I'll do some digging and can certainly follow up right after to let you know what might be possible.
Perfect. Okay, I will move along in the agenda. We've kind of already covered this as well. In planning for this particular meeting, we identified 2 areas that, based on the feedback we were getting last year and the year before, these 2 areas are common questions we get from school-based PIC members and school councils. One around finances in terms of what they're allowed to do and what they're not allowed to do. So on November 28th, that session will hopefully address that. And then the second is around school council and same sorts of questions. What is a school council? Essentially School Council 101. And there is a school council booklet that exists. So we're in discussions of trying to update that because I think it's been maybe 3 or 4 years since it's been updated to account for new and developing things such as virtual meetings and the use of those types of things. So nothing really to share with you other than we acknowledge that these are 2 hot topic areas and we hope to continue to provide supports at the school level through this committee for these 2 particular areas. Next, I'd like to call on, I think it's Trustee Zhang that is here. I can't see the list of attendees. If there are any updates from the trustee perspective.
Hi, this is Xin Zhang. So everyone, good evening. I'm the trustee representative at the PIC committee. So first, welcome all the new members. Thank you very much for putting your name forward. And we are all here learning from each other. I look forward to working with you all and learning from your expertise in various fields. So today I have to say sorry. So I have an external camera. That one is not working today for me. So I cannot turn on my camera. Here we have some school board news and updates. The first is in the recently published EQAO report, York Region and Halton Region posted the strongest result in Ontario. Halton School Board EQAO scores make the grade in every category. Both HDSB and HCDSB recorded well above the provincial average of the students scoring level 3 and 4. That means B grade or above. That's across all categories: math, reading, writing by students in grade 3, 6, 9, 10, including OSSLT. So the strong result demonstrate the quality of education in Halton that gives the community confidence. I'd like to take this opportunity to express our appreciation to all HDSB teachers. Thank you so much for all your efforts to maintain the quality of education for all the children in Halton. Last week, HDSB had a post-secondary exploration event at Sheridan College. More than 50 universities and colleges and educational organizations participated in this great event. The 3-day event, including one evening event that grade 11, 12 students and their parents can have an opportunity to directly speak to the university representatives. I went there. It's a 2-hour event. It's all packed. I met a lot of people. I saw a lot of people. Even I saw some lower grade children also participate in this event. They are seeking the education information from university. So I saw a lot of people are very happy and they give me positive feedback. It's very helpful information. This is not only students can participate, also the parents can directly speak to those universities. And also, I want to update one thing. This is HDSB offers IB, AP, and iSTEM programs. school board has sent information to all grade 8 families in October. Those programs had public information nights. Now the application is open. I encourage parents and the students who are interested in these programs to do the research as early as possible. School board has web pages for these programs, which include the contact information at each school that offer that program. So please reach out to the schools when you need more information about the particular program at a particular school location. So this application deadline is December 4th. Okay, that's everything for this evening. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Trustee Zhang. Next, we'll give it back over to Superintendent Connor in case there are any superintendent updates.
Thank you so much, Saad, and thank you, Trustee Zhang. You and I think, have thought about some of the same things that might be of interest and value to know about for many members of the PIC committee. So I'll highlight and share some other kind of lenses and perspectives around some of the things that we've shared and some of the wonderful things that are happening in both our elementary schools and secondary schools across the region. We've, of course, had a wonderful start to the year, and we always look at the clock and or rather the calendar and can't believe that it's already November as we get into the busyness of wonderful, productive, and incredible school years. Students, jump out of their summer right into the busyness and fun of school, and it just seems to start rolling so quickly. And we really have had such a terrific start to the year all around. The school councils that we've talked about, they're up and running, as we know, in terms of what those timelines have looked like. And I've had a chance over the last many weeks to connect with schools and school councils across the region as they're busy developing plans for the months ahead. I hear about plans around including wonderful opportunities to invite parents and guardians into schools, implementing fundraising plans, plans for school events, and plans for school activities. So, so many really wonderful and exciting things happening in each of our school communities. Many schools have already been busy, and I'm sure I've just heard Shari say you had a daughter and husband who came in. So schools are hosting things like open houses and information sessions, program nights, award nights, and community celebrations. As Trustee Zhang alluded to, last week we had over 4,800 grade 11 and 12 students and their families participate in our inaugural HDSB post-secondary exploration event that was held at Sheridan College. I highlighted for students and families, in fact, all post-secondary pathways that are available to them, and had representation of over 50 different educational institutions and organizations. In the coming weeks, and Trustee Zhang, thank you for highlighting this. I know many of you have children both in the elementary school and secondary school, or they're poised and ready to transition to their next stage. Secondary schools are hosting nights for their incoming grade 8 students. It's hard to believe it's here already. And in the weeks ahead, parents of grades 6 to 12 students will also be invited to attend information evenings across the region to explore a variety of careers and pathway program possibilities offered by the board. For each of those events, interpreters will be available to support families who require language assistance, and there are more than 60 unique programs in secondary schools that are highlighted. That includes programs like our specialist high-skilled major programs, or SHISMs, that are unique and different across many of the schools within the region. Concentrated Ontario Youth Apprenticeship Programs, or OEAP programs, and dual credit programs, which are all celebrated and highlighted through these events. These pathway programs provide opportunities for students to build the skills and explore employment sector opportunities for both actually the students and of course their families around what post-secondary experiences may look like. I also just wanted to share that the Halton District School Board, of course, continues to be committed to the work of the 2020-2024 multi-year plan that lays out 5 areas of focus for our board. And I'm sure all of you, because I think our board does such a wonderful job making this not just a document, but a living experience and work and action of school communities. That wonderful focus on learning and achievement, equity and inclusion, mental health and well-being, environmental leadership, and Indigenous perspectives and awareness. The multi-year plan is really developed to set direction for the board and ensures the collective actions of all stakeholders is purposeful and aligned to best support our more than 66,000 students, 11,000 staff, and our broader HDSB community. Of significance and why I'm really keen to share here this evening is that, of course, in the multi-year plan, we are in the final year of this 4-year vision for the work of the board. And we're right now in the preliminary process of developing strategy to create an updated multi-year plan to direct and guide the actions and activities of the board in the years ahead. The involvement of parents and guardians in this process is incredibly valued, and you can anticipate that you will, in future weeks and months, receive information from the board to all families seeking ideas and thoughts and perspectives so that our families and our communities can drive and direct the work of the board moving forward. Lastly, I will just share, I know I've had a chance to meet many of you over the last number of weeks, and we have a number of new members as well. I'd just like to share that my responsibilities as superintendent of education within the board includes family school responsibilities for Halton Hills, so all of our elementary and secondary schools in the Halton Hills area. I have responsibility for overseeing all of our before and after school programs. So we have 82 programs amongst our school sites across the region. I look after our elementary and secondary school libraries, as well as, of course, responsibility for school councils and for our HDSB Parent Involvement Committee. I'm incredibly thrilled to be connected to the work, in particular, of course, of school councils and our PIC committee, which supports the critical partnership of parents and guardians to their school communities, positively impacting the work of our schools and the achievement and learning experiences of our students. As I've shared with many, I have 4 teenage daughters, so a busy house, one in elementary, 2 in secondary, and 1 who has started university studies. And certainly as a parent and as an educator, I know how deeply our children need us to be connected to their world, supportive of their learning, and advocates for their learning needs. So I just wanted to just share how grateful I am to be connected to this work. And I am so looking forward to what this work will look like in the months and the years ahead.
Okay, thank you so much. So Superintendent Connor, we are at the end of the meeting. Did you want to do anything before we adjourned, or?
I do have, so the votes have been counted, and I am in a position that I can announce our co-chairs for the current year. So if I'm given permission to do that, I'm happy to do that right now. Yep. First of all, I'd just like to say huge congratulations for everybody for being part of the committee. That takes involvement and commitment, and I hear that from everyone that I see and hear from around the table. And also to put your name forward for an election like a co-chair, saying I'm ready to step up and really lead this work as well. So I appreciate everybody's willingness and keenness to be part of that process and the offer of doing that work. I'd like to congratulate Shari and Saud in what will now be their next 2-year appointment to the position of co-chairs for our PIC committee. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I'm very honored and looking forward to working with all of you again, and you as well, Shari.
Thank you. I say the same. I'm looking forward to it now that we know what we're doing. It'll make things a little bit easier. Yeah, that's great. Thank you.
Okay, with that, we're going to move towards adjournment. If I can get a motion to adjourn the meeting. Okay, Ali has passed the motion, and a seconder. And Zena has seconded it. All right, thank you so much for your time. And yep, looking forward to seeing I'm just checking the messages here. Okay, no additional messages. Looking forward to seeing everybody else.
Sorry, I do have a little quick question because I did get booted. Did we end up settling on a date? And did anybody notice before I got booted that Suzanne had put in the chat about a committee of the whole meeting or something on the 22nd? And Ali was asking about the committee members. I just see his name in the chat.
No, we didn't. We did not settle in a date. We've got a couple of dates in the air. It'll be facilities dependent because there's interest in it being in person. So Superintendent Connor is going to get back to us on that. And then submitting names for committees. I don't think we are ready yet to submit names for committees, perhaps at the next meeting.
Well, no, if we needed to appoint somebody for the committees that we, Ali, were you asking about the committees that we posted, like the OPIC and the environmental one and that thing?
I was actually specifically asking about the conference, because I'd love to be a chair based on the experience I had last year and the team there. But I wasn't sure what the appropriate time or process was.
Well, that's great. And I would say, yay, you're it. No, as far as the pick for the conference committee, that's great that that you would like to be a part of that and perhaps chair it. And I'm sure that that is something that as soon as we start that planning process, we will definitely take you up on that. But yes, you have some great experience, and somehow I ended up with some PIC volunteer shirts. So I still have some for the leftovers from the teenagers, but yeah, we will definitely get that. I did see Suzanne just put a message in the chat saying that she can get a Google form and sign up sheet going. So we'll have that information as well. And I know historically in the past, we did try to do 2 years within each area of the board, like the north, east, west, and central locations, and the north being Milton and Halton Hills together. And Louisa being on here, don't be surprised if we hit you up again, because that was a good location. We like Elsie McGill. It's a brand new school with all the cool technology pieces.
Okay. Okay. I think with that, we're about 15 minutes over time. So why don't we go ahead and adjourn? And looking forward to seeing everybody